All right. It says it's setting it up, which means I think it's going. So there we go. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I'm Stacy Jordan, founder of Red Sleigh Workshop. Welcome to Slay the Season Live. Today we're coming in early. We have some special guests here today. We have, of course, Patrick Russell, my business partner. And then we also have Ryan Lee from Landscape Lighting Secrets, but also from Light It Up Expo. So I'm super excited to talk to both of you guys about what's happening in the industry. We also have Mr. Brian Spanky Scott over here from Right Quick Lighting with us today. He's going to be chiming in if he has any questions. If you guys are watching on Facebook live right now, please put your questions in the comment section. Give us a shout out. Tell us where you're coming in from, and if you're coming to Light Up Expo or not. We'd love to hear from you. So first, Ryan Lee, he's the founder of Light It Up Expo and Landscape Lighting Secrets. He's built a platform that brings together like the brightest minds in lighting. And he's not just hosting an event, he's making a movement for the installers who want to think bigger and operate smarter and expand beyond the basics. So I'm really excited to be a part of Light It Up Expo and be a part of Ryan's project and see where this industry is heading. And then we have Patrick Russell. He's the executive vice president of Red Sleigh Workshop and the operational brains behind so much of what we do here. He lives in the systems, the execution of the projects. And while I love building all the strategies behind the commercial projects, Patrick makes sure that the margins hold up and that everything makes sense labor wise. He's the calm in all my chaos, and I'm really glad that he's here. So thank you so much for being here, and as well with Spanky. Right Quick Lighting. I was saying before we jumped on that without Spanky, Red Sleigh Workshop would probably not be around because he's the one that introduced Patrick and I. So that's a conversation for Red Sleigh After Dark. We'll talk about that later, but let's get started. Go ahead, Patrick, introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Patrick with Red Sleigh Workshop, the official executive vice president. So that's and co-founder. Yeah, we started Red Sleigh Workshop last year. I was in Christmas for a few years and had the opportunity to meet Stacy, and we kind of been talked about Red Sleigh for a while. And after Trans World Christmas Show last year, we kept throwing it around, and we finally pulled the trigger last year. And it's been a wild ride so far. It's been fun. Operationally, I'm very OCD. Things have to be perfectly in order. And with, as you know, with commercial, everything being perfect doesn't happen all the time as much as I
Mhm.
would like it to. So that's my main part of the business is just operations, scheduling, logistics. That's where I tend to shine. And I get to learn from the Queen of Christmas, Stacy Jordan. So been learning a lot, been having a great time. I get to meet experts in our field and experts in a lot of other fields like Ryan. So I'm excited that he's on today, and then I'm excited to be going to Light It Up Expo on Tuesday. We're going to be flying out to Orlando and get to meet him, hang out with not just him, but a lot of other industry professionals that are going to be there. Some of the top people in our industry is going to be there, and then also get to meet with all the installers and people that are going to be there. So I'm super excited.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. Spanky, you want to introduce yourself real quick and say who you are? And for our audience out there on Facebook Live, they have questions for you.
Sure. Brian Scott, everybody knows me as Spanky. I've been in the industry for a few years now, since 2020. Um, Mostly Christmas, but in the last couple of years, I've gotten into the permanent side of the installations and landscape lighting, event lighting, venue lighting, things like that. So I've heard Ryan before, met him a few times, and I'm excited to be on here and just hear what he's got to say today.
I already have a question. How did Brian Scott get nicknamed Spanky?
Well, it's not as exciting as it sounds.
Come
Uh,
on, make
You're
something
probably
up.
Exactly.
you're probably too young, Ryan. But the Little Rascals, Spanky.
My
Um,
my daughter's literally watching it right now, watching the
yeah.
Little Rascals. Yeah,
Well, my friends said I look like Spanky after he grew up when I was around 16. So I've had that nickname for over 35 years now.
dude, that's funny. I was just telling my daughter because she started watching it yesterday, the Little Rascals, and I was like,
That's so
all
funny.
my neighborhood, all the adults in my neighborhood growing up, they would call me Alfalfa when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
My
so
daughter's
we
like,
have
you don't look like
alfalfa
that.
and
You have a
Spanky.
beard. I'm like, well, yeah, but as a kid, I wasn't
Right.
born
Well,
with a
you have
beard.
the shape of the head. You got that going.
Yeah,
I see it.
pull up the top here.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Spanky, for being on with us. And And Ryan, you want to introduce yourself and tell us about you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I actually liked the way you introduced me earlier. I was like, dang, I started to like get the warm fuzzies. I was like, you introduced me better than I introduced myself. So thank you. We should hang out more.
Yeah,
But
be careful with the
Ryan Lee, I started a landscape lighting business in 2007. Had that for 12 years, sold it in 2019. It was in the Dallas Fort Worth area. I wish I would have known about Red Sleigh back then because I was terrible at holiday, like just holiday lighting in general, but especially commercial. So we could talk about that. But I did landscape lighting, built that business up to $2.5 million a year, sold it in 2019. And then at some point, it was about a year later, right after COVID, in 2020, I launched Landscape Lighting Secrets, which is a training and education platform and community for those looking to expand into the landscape lighting world and really make it a full-time year-round business.
That's amazing. And just to circle back really quickly, I didn't really introduce myself. A lot of people watching may not know my history. So I've been in the commercial Christmas industry, solely commercial Christmas, for the past 23 years. I did work for a little bit and some training programs that did residential training, but commercial Christmas has been all that I know, from theme parks to cities to major shopping centers to big, huge everything everything from a small strip mall with lights to multi-faceted theme park programs, like everything in between. So that's what I've been doing for all these years, and it's hard to believe 2 decades have passed and here I am still in the Christmas industry. They say if you are in the Christmas industry more than 5 years you won't do anything else but Christmas. Here I am. So that's all I know. You got out of it soon enough, Ryan. You're only in it for a short amount of time, so you weren't stuck in it. You left early. You escaped in time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean that's about me. So if anyone has questions, put them in the chat and on Facebook. Like I said earlier, please, for any of us, we're happy to answer the questions you put in there. I'd love to have some interaction from our viewers. And if you're watching this as a replay, put your questions in there anyway, because we're going to go back and read them. We can answer them for you later. So we're happy to help with that. So to just to get started, you talked a little bit about what you did, that you sold your company and you were in a holiday lighting industry. But tell me a little bit more about the landscape lighting industry and why would that be a good segue for someone who's doing Christmas lighting?
Yeah, so actually, I'm gonna take it back to actually when I started my lighting business because the plan was not to start a landscape lighting business. I had just graduated. We just had our first daughter. I got a marketing degree, and then my father-in-law was like, "Now you're gonna get your MBA, right?" And I was like, "What? We didn't talk about this." Like, and I wasn't driven by education, but I was the first one in my family to like get a college degree. I wanted to be the one to change my family trajectory. Ed Milet talks about the one. Like I wanted to be the one, and I didn't even know who Ed Milet was back then, but I wanted to be the one that's like, dude, my family's got some crazy stories, some crazy lineage stuff. Like, let's not do this anymore. We know that doesn't work. And so, got my marketing degree, got my MBA. And during my schooling, I had in the back of my mind that we were going to blow up this window cleaning business because my brother had moved from Utah to Texas. He was doing window cleaning. And we moved down there to look for a house. We actually made an offer on a house and bought the house and we're in his hot tub. Okay. Every good story starts with a hot tub story, right?
I
And
love it.
so we're in the hot tub and he's like, yeah, man, this is going to be great. When you get down here, I'll have to tell you about Christmas lighting and landscape lighting. And I was like, I mean, I didn't even know, guys. I'm not even kidding. He had told me he did Christmas lighting, but I just didn't know what I didn't know. I was young. I didn't know that people would pay. Like, why would someone pay to put Christmas lights on their house? Like, I went to a Home Depot and got like minis and like strung them along my gutter. I thought that's what was Christmas lights. So I'm like, why would someone pay for this? It's so ugly, right? And so I go, really? So, well, tell me more. And he goes, yeah. And then I just did these two landscape lighting jobs, and that's going to be big money. We'll have to talk about that when you get here. And I said, well, what does landscape lighting even mean? Well, they light the house, they light the trees. I did two jobs. They were each $4,000 each. And I'm like, dude, if you, I didn't really even believe him. I was like, if you're telling
Right.
me the truth, like I'd much rather sell a $4,000 lighting job than a $250 window cleaning job. And he's like, yeah, let's do it then. And I'm not kidding. We went into his house that night, went on to GoDaddy and bought the domain Majestic Outdoor Lighting. And that's how we got into the outdoor lighting business. So it's kind of funny because now a lot of the people that I'm helping, they come from like the same background. They start in cleaning because anyone can buy a squeegee, a pressure washer. Like it's kind of an easy business to get into, hard business to scale because it's low ticket. And then what happens is people go, "Hey, well, you're up on the ladder cleaning windows. Could you hang Christmas lights?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then all of a sudden they go from average ticket of like 500, 700 to Christmas lights, which is around maybe 2 grand. You know, some are doing
Right.
1,500, some are 2,500. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Man, this is cool, but I have to hire all these people to make
Hmm.
an extra 300 grand. And then I have to fire all these people. And then the next year I have to rehire and retrain." And then it's kind of awesome, but it's kind of chaos. Like everyone like mid-season is like, "I hate this. I'm never coming back. I'm never doing Christmas lights again." And then by the time that like they start to run out of money in the middle of the year, they're like, "Man, I'm really looking forward to Christmas season, you know?"
Hmm.
And so landscape lighting is kind of the ultimate connector because it allows you to work the rest of the year and have a higher average ticket from, $700, $1,500, 2,500 to now our client's average ticket is over $13,000. And so it's just a faster way to get what you want.
I love that. That's great. So, what would you say would be like one big mistake that installers make when they're trying to come into the landscape lighting business?
Well, I think a couple things. Number one is they do overthink it quite a bit. So obviously, I'm a huge proponent of training and getting better at design and installation and stuff like that. But some people, they're actually too slow to act. They're so worried about like, well, what, do you have to be an electrician? And what about this and what about that? And I'm like, wait a minute, like you're installing 120-volt lights that can electrocute you on a roof, but you're going to ask me about safety when we're talking low voltage 12-volt lights going in the ground. And so some of it's just perception, and they just don't
Right.
know what they don't know. And so that's one thing. When they do get started, the mistake tends to be that they think that like it's going to just solve all their problems. So if someone has like kind of a chaotic business already, I promise you, bolting on a landscape lighting business is not going to help. Right.
Right.
And so I see people get excited. They're like, "Oh man, this is so cool. I've got an awesome opportunity." And it's like, well, either you kind of have to pick one. Like get your main business, and no business is perfect, but you should get your main business at least operating so that it's, somewhat smooth, and then hire a champion, like have a designated person to be your outdoor lighting person. That's
Right.
probably the biggest mistake I see because an owner takes it upon themselves or they delegate it to someone and like, "Well, I don't have time because I got to go clean. I got to go do lights. I got to go do whatever." And it's like, well, no wonder it's not taking off because no one's focused on it.
Right. That makes sense.
What about training? Do you see that a lot where people, it's kind of like the Christmas light industry, the residential side. People hear about how good, oh, the margins are crazy. You can make a lot of money doing it, and then they don't go to training. And you can tell when you drive by some of these houses or people are on the forums asking the basic question, you can tell they haven't gone through training. And with landscape lighting, I know there's a bit of a learning curve because you know, if you don't know anything about landscape lighting, you're like, oh, it's just put some lights to shine up on the house, when really there's a whole art of design around it. So, do you see that a lot where people just think, oh, I can just get into it, I'm going to make a lot of money, but they don't invest in the education side of it, learning actually how to do it properly?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you see it a lot like homeowners. Again, everyone's kind of ignorant on whatever the thing is until they learn about it. I used to be ignorant on lighting. I used to be ignorant on a lot of things. I learned about it, right? So a homeowner would be like, "Oh, we have the electricians here, changing out some lights or whatever." They'll be like, "Hey, can you guys do the lighting on the trees?" And so that even an electrician who's very trained when it comes to like electricity, they're not trained on what you're talking about, Patrick, where it's design. And so you could light a house by just having like a couple lights far back and just projecting at the house. And yes, it will light the house. The downside is going to look like a prison yard. Is it's going to be very utilitarian, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to get like the effect and the mood and change how people feel when they drive up to their house, you're going to want those lights closer to the house, actually to graze the stone, to graze the wood, to pull out textures and shadows, and really change your light levels so that there's brighter points here and softer points here. And so That's a huge element of it. Now, light is like in most cases, any light's better than no light. So people can get away with it. Like they think they're doing a good job because the customer's like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Here's a check for $5,000. So they think they're doing it right. But once you're trained, you drive by it and immediately you're like, okay, someone obviously didn't know what they were doing. And we think, oh man, that customer must be so disappointed. Most of the time they're not. They didn't know what they're missing out on. You know what I
Right.
mean? So yeah, design is a huge element of it, to make sure that they're actually providing a better client experience. And the downside is if no one does that training and everyone's just throwing a bunch of floodlights out, then the neighbor thinks that's what looks good. I even did a design. This was many years ago, and the customer, we actually installed it, and the customer was disappointed. And I was like, this looks amazing. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, it's just not as bright as we thought it would be. And I'm like, well, compared to what? And they said, our neighbors. Which neighbor? Oh, it's across the street, like kitty corner. And they had the prison lighting. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, so you, wow. They literally thought it was going to look like that. I had to like resell them, even though they had already paid, they had got it installed. I had to resell them on why their house was actually the standard instead of this other one, because in that neighborhood there was 3 or 4 prison yard looking houses, and so they think that's what's normal, and that's a problem for the industry.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen it as well. Same exact thing. We lit up a giant oak tree out here, and it was beautiful, all the texture. And the customer came out, and they were just like, "Oh," and we're like, "What do you mean, oh?" And they're like, "Well, our neighbor 3 houses down, you go look at their house, and they literally had floodlights just blasting the trees." And it was just like, no, that. And so it took a little finagling to be like, you know, yeah, you can do it like that, but it doesn't look good. So go look at, just keep looking at them side by side for a week. And after about a week, they understood it and just kind of were like, okay, yeah, you're not just blasting. Anybody can just blast light on a tree or
Yeah.
a house, but you're actually capturing the textures, and you know you're managing the shadows, and there's a bunch of different elements to it. So I can definitely understand what you went through, because I've gone through it one time as well. So
We had the same thing happen in Dallas. There's a guy named John Watson, and he's like the pioneer of like the big, huge lights that come down out of the trees. I'm talking his guys would climb 60, 80 foot in the trees, shine it down through the limbs. Well, mercury vapor was the type of light that was possible to get that output. This was, 50 years ago.
mhm.
And so people got used to that look. Well, mercury vapor has like a very like a green, depends on your eyes. Like everyone sees a little bit different, but either a green or a bluish tint. And people started to be conditioned that they call that moonlight, and they got used to that look. And they'd be like, yeah, we really want that look. I'm like, when's the last time you looked at the moon? Does the moon put off a green or a blue? Am I missing something? Like, am I colorblind or are you? Because I don't think it puts out that color. We literally had to educate these people to where we were upgrading their system to LED, which was a nice warm light. And they're like, I don't know, could it be more green? I'm like, why would you want it more green? Well, the whole neighborhood's green. We don't want to be the outliers. I'm like, I'm telling you, right now you're the outlier, but their lights are going out soon, and they're going to call us, and everyone's going to follow your lead. They just get conditioned, they get used to that. So yeah, understanding these things and getting trained on design is crucial. The other thing where we're big on in terms of training is pricing, because a lot of people say, oh, yeah, you can make a ton of money in holiday or landscape or whatever it is. Well, you guys know, you guys are in the training industry as well. uh, the untrained person will be like, I don't know, like I bought the materials for, a few $1,000. I'm good with making a couple $100 today. Like, here we go. And,
Right.
maybe there's someone out there that's what they got to do for the next few months to get started. Like I started at that same spot too, right? But we all know that like you can't over deliver for your clients, and you can't stay in business long enough, and you can't grow into the business that you want to be if you're not pricing like who you want to be. So at some point, people do have to understand that if you really want to hang around a long time in this industry and provide value to your customers, provide value to your team members, and ultimately provide for your family, you've got to be charging the right prices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
understanding your margins. In the beginning, it's like you say, oh, well, I paid $1,500 for all this, so I'm going to charge them $2,500 and take me 2 days. I just made $500 a day. Yeah, it sounds great. If you're doing it every single day, yeah, you can make a great living on making $500 a day, but all the overhead, all the insurance, hopefully they have insurance.
They
Um,
don't.
yeah, so that's where like knowing your numbers as a business comes in, and then
I
knowing the
used to be
margin.
like, insurance? Yeah, I've had car insurance since I was 16. What are we
Yeah,
talking about?
exactly. But yeah, so knowing your numbers so then you can know what margins you need to hit. And yeah, so that's perfect.
Right. So let's like segue a little bit. We're like gonna go into Light It Up Expo, right? So Ryan, what gap did you see in your industry that made you create Light It Up Expo?
Man, I'm kind of wishing I didn't see the gap because I'm exhausted right now. But
We thought you were
uh,
just relaxing this week.
I know, laying out by the pool and just
Right.
waiting, like,
Some
February.
margaritas and just
February's always
chilling.
slow. So yeah, I have that curse of entrepreneur where it's like we see a problem, we got to solve it. And the problem I saw was there was really three industries. There's landscape lighting, there's holiday lighting, and there's permanent lighting. And no one had ever brought those together. And in fact, even those industries on their own were kind of disjointed. And if you wanted to, you might go to like a landscape show, you might go to like certain places and see some holiday lighting providers or some landscape lighting providers. And if you want training on permanent lighting, you have to go to that specific manufacturer, or same with holiday. So it was just all over the place, right?
Right.
And I had a lot of clients, and again, I did not have this vision 10 years ago to be like, you know what, I'm gonna sell my landscape lighting business, and then I'm gonna start coaching, and then I'll start Light Up Expo. I had no idea any of this was gonna happen, right? But it's just you kind of follow the lead and see what's out there. And I had so many people reaching out to me saying, well, how do I get into landscape lighting? Because originally I was only helping people who already had a landscape lighting business. Okay. And they go, well, how do I get into it? I'm like, I don't know, just figure it out. That was my answer. And they're like, yeah, but you don't do any training. I'm like, no, like you have to like start a landscape lighting business, fail at the landscape lighting business, and then I will help you. And they're like, weirdo. So eventually I was like, yeah, reach out to these manufacturers and like, I don't know, maybe a distributor will help you. Right. So eventually we started doing that training. Right. And then I had people going the same thing. It's like, so you only do landscape lighting? Do you not do holiday lighting training? And then when permanent came out, I mean, permanent's been around for a while, but as of the last few years, it's really starting to surge. People are asking me the same thing, and I'm like, I don't really want to. Like, I'm a landscape lighting guy. That's my that's my passion. That's my love. I don't want to like fake it and be like, yeah, guys, I'm also the Christmas lighting guy. And you need commercial help? Yeah, I got you. Like, remember, I don't know how to do that. And oh, permanent? Yeah, I should be it, right? And so I I thought of this Light It Up Expo to be like, you know what? We'll bring the industries together, and we'll let the experts, we'll let the red sleighs do what the red sleigh people do, and we'll let the permanent people do what the permanent do. But I'll just be the one that facilitates it. Bring it together, have all the top manufacturers, all the top distributors, all the top trainers, the marketing companies, the AI companies, the recruiting, anything that you would need to help you grow a profitable business. Let's put them under one roof. So that's really kind of how it all came together.
I love that. So based on that, like who definitely absolutely needs to be at Light It Up Expo and who may not be ready to come there yet, if anybody?
Yeah, so I feel like I'll tell you who's coming, and then I'll tell you who I still think should be there. Um, there's a lot of people that are newer, so maybe they've been in holiday forever, but they keep hearing about landscape lighting, and they're like, all right, like I've seen my friends do this, and they're starting to make good money. I don't want to be left behind, so those people are coming. Landscape lighting people who aren't big into holiday or permanent, they're coming, right? So the people who are wanting growth, education, training, those are the ones in the room. The people who I still think aren't coming are the people they've been around a while, but they're like, what are you going to teach me? I already know everything. All right. And I think those people are still, I think they'll come maybe next year, maybe the year after. I don't know how long it will take. At some point, they're going to go, all right, what am I missing out on? Because what they're going to see is the people who do attend, they're going to get so much traction. They're going to get so much momentum. And someone who has 15 years of experience is going to get passed by someone who just got in 2 years ago because
Right.
their circle of influence, because
Well,
we
it
know that
sounds
proximity is power, and like they're going to be able to meet
right.
with experts like you, and like you're going to shave off the learning curve of all these people's like by years, So yeah, I think I can't think of anyone who like, I guess if you don't want to grow, if you just want to
Don't
stay
go.
the same, you
Yeah.
would be bored. You wouldn't be bored. You would just be like, you would be hating me and everyone in that room for three
Right. I think
days.
it's if you think you know everything already, then don't come. Don't
Yeah,
don't show up because if you know everything already, why do you need to come where there's people who can teach you new things and new ideas, right?
that's right.
Um, so I think that you are bringing in the top minds in our industries, the three industries of the landscape lighting, the permanent lighting, and the Christmas lighting. So, what kinds of classes or speakers are we going to expect to see there, and what does that look like?
I mean, obviously I'm going to say good things, but it's going to be epic. So I'll kind of walk through the format a little bit. So I've been doing trainings for years now, like 5 or 6 years, and specifically for landscape lighting, right? And so we've got a good format. Even the people that came to our very first one were like, "This is the first time you've ever done this?" I'm like, "Yeah." Did you hate it? And they're like, "It was epic. It was awesome." I'm like, "Okay, cool." They're like, "But you didn't give us bathroom breaks. I had to pee for like 8 hours." I'm like, "Oh, what? Like, stop being a wuss. Like, let's go. You said you wanted growth. Hold it." So now we actually, schedule in bathroom breaks, but um, this one's going to be different than anything we've ever done. Last year was the first year we did Light It Up Expo, and it was a great show. We had vendors saying you should have charged us more. We had people saying, like really good feedback, but I knew there was some changes that we wanted to make. So we have like a traditional expo floor. We have over 40 vendors where people can go and again, like get their hands on product, meet with AI companies, meet with marketing people, meet with training companies, right? And really network with other attendees as well. But during that expo and Red Sleigh, you guys have a breakout as well. We are allowing not everybody, not every vendor has it, but maybe about half the vendors have a breakout. And so this is a chance to have a little bit more intimate conversation than like a quick, 5 or 10 minute conversation at the booth and just a quick introduction to like a more of a deep dive into whatever that particular vendor is doing. So I think that's going to be a hit for the vendors and the attendees so that they can look at the schedule and go, I really want to hit on Red Sleigh. I want to go over here to this manufacturer and I want to hit this marketing company for their breakout, and still allow them time to spend time on the trade show floor as well. So that's all just day one. Uh, Day two, we have speakers, like main stage speakers, keynote style. And those are going to be not just motivation. I mean, we're when you guys see this is your first year coming, this is not a
Mhm.
boring conference. Like you're not allowed to yawn. If you yawn once, like you're kicked out. It's like you're banished. Like you can never come back to the community. It is not a boring conference. Like I believe that your ability to learn and to absorb information is directly related to your state. And so if you're tired, I learned this when I was getting my MBA. I was so tired. I worked all day and then I went to night school and I'm just exhausted and they're teaching me stuff. And I was literally half asleep and I didn't absorb a lot of it, right? Because of my state. But when you're
Right.
excited and you have energy, it's so much easier to want to affect change in your life and to learn these things. So it's going to be highly energetic. We've got main stage speakers. We've got some breakout sessions where you'll have to choose kind of which topic or which person you want. And then we also have expert roundtables where people can go and get more intimate conversations instead of like getting spoken to, or they can actually go up to the speaker at the table and be like, hey, this is who I am. This is my business. What would you do in my case from a marketing standpoint or sales or leadership or whatever the thing they're struggling with? So I think
Right.
we've got about 15 or 20 expert roundtables. So we've got lots of different areas to learn because some people are like, I don't like the speakers. I don't want to get spoken to, right? And so maybe they don't go to that portion, or maybe they go, but
Right.
they just don't get as much out of it. But they'll get a ton out of the expert. So we're not trying to please everyone all the time, there's going to be a speaker that doesn't hit. Don't let that ruin your experience, right? You're really just looking for one or two takeaways that's going to change the trajectory of your life and your business. And so I've had that at events where I'm like, I didn't really like the morning. And then all of a sudden the afternoon, I'm like, holy cow, that one guy, like I could leave right now. That one
Right.
person, that one lady who just taught me that one principle. Now I know how to make an extra $10,000 a month the rest of my life. Duh. Like, what if I wouldn't have come? So there's several different routes to gain value. And we do that intentionally because, again, if it's just speaker after speaker after speaker, it'd get a little bit monotonous.
Right. And I'm all about, I tell all the people that come to me for consulting is we have to invest in ourselves in our business, right? Being the owner operators, like we're not investing in ourselves to learn the things that we need to grow and to move forward from people who know more about these things than we do, then we're just going to stay stagnant.
Yeah, and looking at the Facebook comments, Ryan has a huge following. We've got a couple comments here. We got Paul Gardner.
What's
He
up,
actually
Paul?
Hi, Paul.
he wrote a little rap for you, and I'm going to do my
Oh,
best here.
Oh,
It says,
sweet.
if
Let's hear
there
it.
was a problem, yo, Ryan Lee will solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it. Lights, lights, baby.
That's so
dun,
So
dun,
sweet.
dun, 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 dun.
that
Lights,
was from
lights,
Paul,
Dun,
baby.
and
dun,
then
dun,
Chris
dun,
Dun,
Rios
dun, dun, dun,
said,
dun, dun.
yeah, Chris Rios said it's Ryan effing Lee, the man, the myth, the legend. So,
Yes, Chris. Oh
so
man,
those are the
Chris.
kind of people that it seems like are going to be at the Light It Up Expo. It's
Yeah.
some of the some of the legends, lights, lights, baby. That's what we're going to be talking about. And
Well, those two people you mentioned, I met at different events. You know what I mean? So like the brotherhood, the sisterhood, like the just the ability to network is unbelievable. And Chris, he didn't even know this. I don't we were this was like after a training session. This is what we're talking about. Like when you're just like at dinner or hanging out. We were hanging out. It was a I can't remember what training it was. It was a Christmas light training or something like that. I might have been involved, but afterwards, Chris, I don't know how this came to be, but Chris Rios is sitting there and he's like, lighting for profits, the number one landscape lighting show in the world. Oh yeah. And I recorded that and I played that so many times introducing my podcast because his voice was just so epic. Like that's a bond we'll always have. You know, we'll
Love that.
and it's dumb little things like that that keep people together. And I know if I ever need anything from Chris or if I need anything from Paul, like it's literally just a phone call away.
Chris said I was drunk.
He was drunk. I was going to leave that out, but at least he remembers.
Yeah, he put it in the chat, so it's open
Yeah, at least he
You
forum.
put it out to
remembers.
the world.
But no,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's what I always tell people, who haven't gone to a training or an expo or anything like that. You're going to learn, you get to meet the vendors, you get to, see the people that you're talking on the phone to when you're ordering your product or whatever. But yeah, and you're going to have some classes that you can learn stuff, which is, I always tell people you need to do at least a couple classes. Just you're investing your time and money to go there, so you might as well, take some classes. But the networking is amazing. um, Getting to meet fellow installers from all over the country, and you kind of get that camaraderie and go out and have a couple drinks or do some karaoke. Um, Last year we were at a big dinner, and um, I don't remember how many people were there because I had a few beers by the time we got to dinner.
Oh, so you were drunk. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I was a little tipsy, but my daughter went potty in the bathroom for the first time while I was at Trans World. And so my mom called me and FaceTimed me, and I was, oh, hey, my daughter's calling. And I hold the phone up to the table, and my mom was pointing the phone at the toilet to show me that she pooped in the toilet. So all those people,
It was a big group. There's like 10
one
or
of
12
their
of us
core
there.
memories of me was like,
Yeah,
oh
it
yeah,
was,
we remember when we got to see when your daughter went to the bathroom into the toilet for the first time. And it was just, it's
I
just so
think
much
that's
fun.
embedded in their brains
Oh,
forever.
It is.
100%.
No, that's a bond though. Like they're always going to remember that, you know,
Yeah, Paul.
unfortunately.
Yeah, Paul said I was there. It is true. So,
Paul's at all the cool things.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so that's great. Thank you guys on Facebook for checking in. Hi, everybody. That's watching. Just real quick, like I know that people want to know, if they're in the Christmas industry now and they're coming to your expo because they want to learn about permanent lighting or they want to learn about landscape lighting, they're already doing holiday, which is great. They want to come see us to grow. But besides that, I know what opportunity there is in the Christmas and holiday side for commercial Christmas all around the country because there's so many open RFPs. Even now, we're looking at so many we're doing just this week.
Wow.
But for the landscape and permanent lighting, what are these installers underestimating? Like, what are they not seeing?
I think they're just underestimating the opportunity. Like, I mean, I grew up with a single mother. We had an awesome life. We weren't like living on a dirt floor and eating cockroaches. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
she did great. She provided for us, but we did not have extra money. And so it was really hard for me to understand. Like I said, when my brother told me that someone spent $4,000 for lights, I was just like, what kind of idiot would spend $4,000 for lights? It just doesn't make sense to like your normal human brain because you're like, do people really need that? And like your mind can go down that path.
Right.
I went to in Texas. So I grew up in Utah, grew up skiing and snowboarding here and stuff like that. And so when I moved to Texas, I had my lighting business, and people in Texas, they'd go, "Oh, you're from Utah? Yeah, we love skiing. But we always go to Colorado." I'm like, "Oh, cool." And they go, "Yeah, we go to Vail." I'm like, okay, now what? Like, I don't know. I had no idea how much money these people made. I knew they lived in a nice house. I literally had no clue. I went to Vel. Okay, a friend of mine took me to Vel. He goes, "Come on, let's go to Vel," and because he skis there too. I'm like, okay, dude, I had no idea. These people are spending $60,000 to $80,000 on a condo for a week. They're
Wild.
spending $1,000 a day to get their kid in ski school. I had no idea. This was back, you know, 9, 10 years ago. So it's more than
Right.
that now, right? I had no idea. These are the same people that go, wow, $15,000 for landscape lighting? It seems like a lot. And I'm like, oh man, when I got back from that trip, I sold so much freaking lighting because my
Because you weren't
perspective
afraid
had
because the
changed.
money was
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
I'm like, 15
Yeah.
grand. Oh, I'm sorry. 15 grand to have your lights on every single night to provide safety, security, put you in a better mood for the next 10 to 15 years. Sorry, I don't feel bad anymore. Right. And so I think people are missing out on the opportunity. They think, I'm too late. It's already crowded. There's already a bunch of people in my area. They don't know how bad actually homeowners want this exterior lighting. And I'm talking landscape lighting, holiday lighting, permanent lighting. It's all there's a huge demand for it. And I think people worry, I don't know, there's a lot of people getting trained, it's going to make it worse. It's not a fixed pie, people. Okay, this pie grows as the industry grows because what happens is education. Okay, homeowners are not aware. Like, this is why landscape lighting hasn't taken off yet, and it's kind of good, kind of bad. Is like there's just not a lot of awareness. But if five more people came into your area and started advertising landscape lighting with yard signs, with Facebook ads, with direct mail, I promise you that pie gets bigger. The opportunity gets
Right.
bigger. And we're all sitting on about I don't know, I'm predicting a 5 to 10 year runway right now of a lot of opportunity when it comes to all things exterior lighting because the educational, the awareness, it's building. And that's called momentum. And the people that are around and building their brand and staying in the game long enough to win are going to have some huge wins.
That's great. Was my next question. Where do you see this going in the next 3 to 5 years? And you just said it. The
Massive,
momentum is there.
massive. And
Right.
it's because of events like Light It Up Expo. It's because you Red Sleigh, you guys are doing training. If the exterior lighting world, in my opinion, has had no leadership, hasn't had anyone driving it. It's all very reactive. You could drive a wrap truck down a neighborhood in November, and you're going to get a lead, right? But what are you doing right now to generate interest, right? And that's because we have people like you, right? And so that's going to be the inertia switch. Is it's been reactive for the past couple decades. It's like, hey, we're here. When you need us, like we got you, right? But because of Light It Up Expo and a lot of these trainings stuff like that, we're going to put the gas on. We're changing it from a reactive um, industry to a proactive industry. And
Right.
I've learned a lot of this stuff from other industries that are eh, further advanced than the exterior lighting, right? Other home service industries that have businesses not just doing a few $1 million a year. That's like a small company. I'm talking in small markets, these companies doing 10, 15, $20 million a year. And that's my prediction. We're going to have in the next 3 to 5 years outdoor, dedicated outdoor lighting companies offering holiday, permanent, and landscape lighting, doing these big time numbers, multiple 8-figure companies instead of like, oh, wow, you do 400,000. Like, yeah, that's nothing. Like we do that in a month. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's my prediction. We'll see what happens.
So the difference between the people who are going to be doing those larger multi-million dollar companies compared to people who are doing a few 100,000 are going to be the people that put themselves into places like your event, right?
Yeah.
That's one place they can start. And that's for us too. Like we get really excited about people who are excited about their business, right? They want to grow, they want to learn, they want to expand. And that's our client base, are people who are interested in moving forward and growing, right? The
Well,
people who aren't.
I have a client and he'll be at Light It Up Expo. He changed my perspective. Okay. Imagine being like Tiger Woods' coach. Imagine being Michael Jordan's coach. Like that's how I feel with all of my clients. I'm like, wait, why am I your coach? You guys are awesome. You don't need me. And that's not true. They do need me because it's not that I'm better than them. You think Tiger Woods' coach is better at golf than Tiger Woods? Hell no. But he's able to see things from a different angle and help him make these minor tweaks and adjustments. And that raw talent is going to just be mediocre if he doesn't have that coach, right? And so all the members in our program, and I believe this, I don't know everyone that's coming to Light It Up Expo, but everyone in our program, I'm like, dude, if we never met, you were going to be successful. It just would have taken you a lot longer. What would have taken you 10 years, we're helping these people do in 2. What would have taken them 2 years, we're helping them do it in 6 months. We're just literally professional time collapsers. We're just reducing
Right.
the amount of time it takes. And that's what a coach does. That's what an educator, an instructor, that's what you guys are doing too. Like eventually they could figure it out like you did. Like, why couldn't they? But how long did it take you to figure out some of this stuff, right?
Two
So
decades.
they're paying for that time, right?
Right.
And I think what I was going to say is this client who's coming to Light Up Expo, you see, my biggest job ever for landscape lighting was $150,000 residential. And I thought that was great. Like, holy shit. Like, I would have never predicted that I would have sold a $150,000 residential landscape lighting job, right? And when I met him, his average job is 300,000 residential. He's doing jobs over 5, 6, $700,000. He's working on one now. It's $1.5 million. One residential landscape lighting job. And if you just hear about it on a live like this or see it in a group, it's easy to just be like, that's BS, or make up some excuse as to why he's lucky or to why, that's not possible for you. But the longer you're around a circle, that circle will influence you. And most people are stuck in the same circle they're in. Their neighbors, their friends, their family, they're not bad people. They're just trying to protect them. They don't want them to get hurt.
Right.
They don't want them to fail because they're trying to protect them. And so it's like, hey, don't worry. I know you want to go to Orlando. I know you want to go to the Red Sleigh thing, whatever. It's okay. You're doing fine. And it's like, it's not okay. Like, this is your moment to shine. This is your trajectory. This is your chance to like be the one to change your family trajectory. And there's going to be some pain involved. There's going to be some failure. And it's hard to accept that and to lean into it if you're not in the right rooms, if you're not in the right circles, because your family and your friends, they're going to talk you out of all the good stuff in the world. And it's not because they're bad people, that they're doing it out of love. They love you. They support you. They don't want you to get hurt. They want you to stay safe. But safety has never gotten an entrepreneur to where they want to be. Safety is the thing that holds you back. So that's the importance of being in these rooms, is to elevate you and get you seeing bigger. And when we have our first multiple 8-figure outdoor lighting business, that's like breaking the 4-minute mile. When the 4-minute mile was broken, like 1950 whatever, by Roger Bannister, like the next year, like 16 people did it. Like it had never been done. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, we can do that. It's going to
Right.
give people permission to be like, hey, it's okay. It's okay to want to grow. And that's what's going to
Right.
happen.
That's the belief, that belief zone that we live in, and that's up to us to, and once you believe it, then it can happen. So
Absolutely.
I 100% believe in that too. So, um, Patrick, give me the questions for Ryan at this point. I mean, he said so much. I'm just like
Yeah.
sitting here in awe.
Sorry, I said
Hey,
too
I love
much.
it. No, no, you said everything's great. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
I
just
think
we
one
can
thing
end this now. It's perfect.
we kind of talked about a little bit before we went live, which is a great point. Is when you're doing landscape lighting, the opportunity with your clients, since you don't know who they are, we were kind of talking about the opportunities for other avenues of business. You're doing their window washing, you're doing their landscape lighting, but you can talk more about that. They could be a business owner, so there's a lot more. You do a great job for them. They're like, hey, you guys do Christmas lights. You know, I own a hotel or whatever, so we want you to come give us a bid for other avenues of income. So, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what, like we were joking before. I'm like, man, I wish I would have met Red Sleigh like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago because I sucked at commercial quotes. Like we literally had cities reaching out to us. We had the opportunities. They're like, yeah, here's the RFP. And I'm like, Googling what is an RFP. You know what I mean? And then so like I could fake my way through it. I'm like, yeah, send over the RFP and we'll get you taken care of. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to fill this out. How do I fill this out? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go sell a $10,000 landscape lighting job today. That's why I failed, right? I didn't have you there being like, dude, you're fine. Send it over. I got you. We'll help you.
Right.
And so I did find ways to get into commercial projects, and I wouldn't say this was intentional. I mean, this is one of those things where it's like if you work hard and you put yourself in the right situation, like opportunities will show up where I'm, doing someone's lights. And if you think about it, like where does most of the wealth lie in this country? Like most of the wealth isn't by um, people who bag grocery at the grocery store, who work at the gas station, right? Most of the wealth is CEOs, like, C-suite management style people and business owners. Okay. And so when I was at these people's houses, I wanted to soak up as much as I could. So I'm asking them, like, so what do you do for a living? And how do I afford a house like this? Like, this is sick. I want to have a door that costs $26,000. That would be so cool, a toilet with a heat seater, like, or whatever. Yeah. Seat heater.
Yeah.
I wanted all that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is so cool. And like these cars, a car costs how much? 600,000. This is so cool. They probably
Wow.
like was laughing so much at me, right? I just didn't know that these things were possible. So I get to know them, and then all of a sudden I find out, oh, so what are you doing? They're like, I own hotels. I'm like, you own hotels? I didn't know somebody owned hotels. I don't know who I thought owned hotels, but I didn't think people did. And then another guy, oh, I own that restaurant. You own that restaurant? Yeah, we go there every Friday night with our family. That's so cool, right? And then one of them asked me, like, hey, could you do some lighting for us over here? Like, could I do lighting? Yeah, I know a guy, right? So um, then after we had a few people ask us, that's when we started getting proactive, and that became a strategy of ours. Because again, I didn't know how to fill out an RFP. And this way, I didn't have to fill one out. I didn't have to learn because it was like if the owner said, hey, these guys are doing our lighting, we were doing their lighting. So we ended up doing, again, like small hotels. We do a lot of restaurants and stuff like that. But it wasn't because I was good at selling commercial. I just had a good ability to build a relationship.
Yes, I 100% agree with that relationship building process. So important. So important. All right, so we're almost at time here, guys. So I want to give Ryan an opportunity to talk about how can people work with your company, Landscape Lighting Secrets. What would you suggest they do if they're looking to get into the landscape lighting business, or if they're in it and not sure which direction to go? I mean, of course, come to Light It Up Expo. That's one thing we're going to say. Besides that, though, if for some reason they really can't make it, like what would you suggest they do next?
Are
Yeah,
there
so
are there are there tickets to Light It Up Expo? Like I've heard yes, no, maybe so.
I know. I'm like,
We got you on the line here, so
oh
Oh,
man, oh geez.
his
So
face. Ah.
I would say this: if you go to the website and you can still buy a ticket, then we have a ticket. We have like 3 tickets left. Okay. So, and like 8 people have told me they're coming. They just haven't bought their ticket yet. So I'm like, okay, maybe we'll do 8 more tickets. I don't know. We're pretty much sold out, but I do have some friends that are just like worse procrastinators than me, which seems hard to believe. But so if you go to the ticket, if you go to the page, it's lightitupexpo.com and it says sold out, get on the waiting list, then at least put your name on the waiting list, because if we do have someone that's not going to make it, we'll email you or whatever. So if you can come, you guys absolutely should. It's next week. It's in like 4 days or something like that. So come to Light It Up. That is the gathering place for anything outdoor lighting. I just can't imagine you taking yourself serious and wanting to be the best in your area if you're not at Light It Up. If you're going to get passed if you're not there, because everyone else is going to be leveling up so much. Um, Outside of that, I mean, there's a couple different options. Landscape Lighting Secrets, that's our flagship program. Um, we have members all over the US. We have some in Canada. We have a guy actually in England, Mark Packham. What's up, Mark? Mark's coming to Light It Up too. He's flying. I think he's going to be
Awesome.
our furthest person away from. It might be closer from England to Florida than it is Washington to Florida. I'm not sure, but we got people coming from all over the place. But Landscape Lighting Secrets is really that community to help you in all things. So it's to learn lighting design, installation, have live calls to help you as well every single week. We've got about 13 calls a month that are dedicated to design, installation, sales, marketing, scaling your business, hiring and recruiting, um, building culture. Uh, if you need your like P&L reviewed, you need finance help, even that. So kind of all the areas of your business. And it's not just a course. It's truly a training platform, a community, a way to get coaching as well. We have vendor discounts. So if you're like thinking about hiring a marketing company, we have one guy who does text marketing. He gives our clients $400 off a month. So
Wow.
they save $4,800 a year just because they
Huge.
are in our program. So it's kind of a no-brainer to be in there. And you can just go to landscapelightingsecrets.com. You can click start now, book a call with our team. We don't have a sign up now link. We don't want you to join if we don't think it's going to be a good fit. So it is kind of an application based. We have a lot of questions about your company, see where you're at, see where you want to be. If we are that bridge, then we're going to be like, all right, you'd be an idiot to not join. But if not, we're like, hey, here's maybe some recommendations that you could do to get started. If people aren't ready for that, and they're like, I don't know, I think I know everything, but I do need to learn design and install. We do have Lighting Academy, so that's lightingacademy.net, and that's super low ticket option again, just to help you get your first jobs in the ground. It's also training for team members. Every time you bring on a technician, and you're like, I don't know how to train them, well, we do it for you. It's all online. It's through a course on there, and also comes with live calls as well. That's a lightingacademy.net.
That's great. Thank you so much for that. So there's lots of pathways to get to you.
Lots of
It's like
pathways.
lots of
I
pathways.
probably would be remiss if I didn't mention. You guys probably know this, but I'm also the host of the #1 landscape lighting podcast in the world.
In the
Yeah,
world.
in the world.
Amazing.
I mean,
Congratulations.
it's the only landscape lighting podcast in the world. So.
Which makes it number one.
I've literally had people though that listen to it. We have live guests on every week. We'll have to have you guys on. Um, in fact, if we don't have that scheduled, I'll have Darcy reach out,
Thank you.
because our guests add so much value. I've had people call me and go, dude, send me the link to join your program. I'm like, I don't know who you are. And they're like, well, you've already helped me make like 50 grand for free just by listening to the podcast. I imagine
That's
if I
amazing.
paid you some money, you'd probably help me make some more. So I tell everyone, like, I'm not trying to take your money. Like, go listen to the podcast. Go prove me wrong. Like, go listen to 20 episodes. If I haven't helped you make enough to join the program, then stop listening. Right? That's the whole point and goal, is to help people. And it's kind of a good way to weed people out, because if they're not willing to like listen to something, implement, and make money, then joining our program is not going to help them either, because we don't do everything for you. We do a lot for you, but we don't do everything. At the end of the day, you're a grown person, and you're going to have to implement and do some of these things on your own.
Well, thank you so much, Ryan. I'm so excited about what you're building with all of this and the Light Up Expo. I'm super excited to be there this year with you guys and to see that vision and that exposure and everything that you're doing and getting everyone fired up and to build their businesses. And it's just, it's one thing to get inspired, but it's another thing to really like build those systems and pricing and structures and turn that up and scale it. Like it's so exciting to see that happen in the business. So for us, real quick, we're just going to talk about what we have going on. Patrick, you want to share what we're doing? Of course, we'll be at Light It Up next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah,
Besides
no,
that, what else is happening?
we're super excited to go to Light It Up Expo. When we got invited to come out there, we're going to be out there with certified lights. Ashley's actually on Facebook watching right now, so I wanted to give Certified Lights a shout out. They are a big part of our success, and so we love working with them. So yeah, Ashley's going to be with us. We'll be sharing a booth at Light It Up Expo. Um, and then we have, when is this? September?
September. Yeah, I'm in the wrong link.
Yeah. So we just had our first 2-day training here in San Antonio last week, Thursday and Friday. It was amazing. It was, everything you hoped it would be and more. We had so much fun. The installers had a great time. So we have another one coming up April 30th through May 1st. That's here in San Antonio. Your hotel's provided. All you got to do is get your flight out here, and then your food and hotels covered for 2 days. Um, we're going to be at St. Louis at Transworld. We're having a 1-day pre-show training March 25th on Wednesday. So you go to transworldchristmasshow.com. You can sign up for that. And then Action Lighting out in Bozeman, Montana, called us up and said, hey, we want to do a 1-day intro to a commercial with all of our installers out here. So we'll be in Bozeman, Montana, June 13th. So you can go to actionlighting.com, I think is their webpage, and sign up for that. We're going to be at Light It Up Expo. We do have the breakout session, so we have 45 minutes, and then we'll be on the vendor floor. So come talk to us there. I think Stacy's actually doing the 5K. Stacy and Ashley, I believe. Um,
Are you guys doing the
I was going to
5K?
ask you about that, Ryan. Are you going to be part of that?
Of course.
Of
Yes.
course. Yeah, we're there. We're totally there.
I'll be
I
Yeah.
mean,
So I
I'm
was just
there.
looking. So
Yeah,
your guys'
Ashley.
breakout is Wednesday, 2 o'clock, right? When it's it's during the vendor like trade show, but you guys have your own breakout at 2 o'clock. So make sure you don't have to do anything. They don't have to register anything. I think they just go to that room with you guys, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then when you guys are doing the 5K, Stacy and Ashley are both going to be doing it. I'm going to sleep in a little, but it's only 3 miles, so I told them that I would be waiting at the finish line with donuts. So,
Really?
yeah, I'm going to go get some donuts.
Okay, you just said that out loud, so now you have to actually do
It's
it.
not going to
No,
take us
I've
long. Like how long do you think it's going to take us? Like how much extra sleep are you going to get? You still have to go get donuts. I mean, this
Yeah,
is
I'll probably DoorDash it and just have it delivered.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go anywhere, but no. But yeah, Light It Up. We're gonna be there Tuesday through Saturday. We get there Tuesday night. We'll be there Wednesday through Saturday. Um,
So
Yeah,
here's
make sure you
our
guys
little.
come Thursday morning. I think it's 6:30 a.m., which I was a little worried because I'm actually like, I think I'm the first speaker that day at like 8. So I think I don't know. I'm like, crap, JC, you got me run. I have to go run at 6:30 a.m. and then I have to speak at 8. I've never done this. What am I going to do?
You'll be
I didn't
just
know it was
fine.
at 6:30 in the morning. No, I just I'll
Ugh.
yeah.
What time
Maybe
would it be?
I don't know. I mean, that makes sense because you got the expo all day. So
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we literally like have so much planned that day. We're like, okay, we got to start early. Normally, I like to
Hmm.
start about 9, let people kind of be a little bit lazy with breakfast and stuff. And on Friday, we are starting at 9, but Thursday, it's the run day. People are going to get crazy Thursday night, you know that. So I think it'd be hard to get people up early on a Friday. So Thursday, 6:30 a.m., 5K.
Yeah. Need a sugar-free Red Bull and I'm good to go. I'll be fine.
Sweet.
Or a C4. Good to go.
ooh, those are
We
the
know that
best.
mango one. Ashley gets that one. So if you look at the screen, we have this ad up. That's not an ad. It's a post on Facebook talks about our breakout session, March 4th, 2
Oh,
o'clock,
sweet.
Gold Coast room, Gold Coast 2 room. Ashley and I are going to be there. She's from Certified Lights, and we're going to talk about, you know, what you need to do for Christmas, how
Yeah.
to get to the next level and how to work with us. What is it that you can do to get, you know, get grow forward in the Christmas industry. So we're happy to share our experience about that.
That looks sick.
Um, Super excited. Yeah, I wore my like the color for Orlando. I was like, I got to be something bright tonight because we're talking about
Is that
Florida.
Orlando? Is that the color
This
of
is my
Orlando?
Orlando color right here.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be wearing gray. That's my Orlando color and my Utah color.
Oh,
So you grew up snowboarding and skiing, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you on like the ski team?
No, I wasn't. I probably wasn't that good, you know. In my mind, yeah, I was probably the number one person on the number one ski team. But
I've never been either, so I'm just it always makes me wonder.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
I
do
grew
I
up,
either
mean,
of those.
I grew
I've
up
skied a lot.
snowboarding. Yeah, I learned how to ski first, and then I moved over to snowboarding after fourth grade because our school that I went to, you couldn't snowboard till you were in fourth grade. So once fourth grade hit, that was a cool thing to do is snowboard. So I snowboarded all throughout elementary and high school. So
Because you
That
grew up in
happened
the
to
high
me too.
Sierras, right?
I think I
yeah,
California.
switched when I was like 12 from skiing to snowboarding. And then about 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 7 years ago, I started skiing again. Whole long story I won't tell you right now, but it's so much easier too.
yeah,
I don't get like tired at the end of the day. Snowboarding is a workout.
it is. Yeah, I haven't snowboarded in 20 years. It's been a long time. I lived in the high Sierras, so anyone familiar with Mammoth Mountain, I used to live very, very close to there. So we used to get really cheap lift tickets, and then I moved to where there wasn't snow, and I try to live where there's no snow because it's not my favorite thing. So
We
uh,
should not do a ski trip together.
I,
So
I will respond yes to that every single time.
We should do an Aruba trip. That's
I
Yeah,
could
my
probably do
vote.
that. Yeah.
My
yeah,
vote. Yeah.
We had a so this was like right after I launched Landscape Lighting Secrets. People were like, "Dude, can we come do a ski trip in Utah?" I'm like, "Yeah, I live here. Let's go." And so I thought like 20 people were going to come, but only like 3 did, because everyone talks a big game. And
yeah,
so
Right.
one of the guys, and I forgot to like qualify people because like I don't have the patience. Like if I'm going to go skiing and dedicate a whole day, I'm like, "Sorry, Patrick, like I'm not going to teach you how to snowboard today." Like I would hire you an instructor, but like I'm not that. I'm gonna go have fun, right? So
right.
we go all of a sudden, like we start to all of us, the few of us were going, and then we look back and we're like, where where is he? What are you doing? And he's like fumbling around just trying to get his skis on. And we're like, he doesn't know how to put his skis on. Like, how long did he say it's been? So like we go do a run or we start to go do this run, and he's just so slow in everything. He didn't even make it like a fourth of the way down the hill. He literally was like stopped, asked for help. I tried helping him do like a couple of turns. I'm like, ah, shit, I don't know how to do this. Um, and so I'm like waving down like a mountain guide or whatever. I could tell this person like worked there. I'm like, can you teach him how to ski? And they're like,
Right.
yeah, sure, I got it. Even they couldn't do it. So he ended
Yeah.
up taking off his skis and literally walking down the entire run until he got to the bottom lift and ended up getting in a truck to go down to the main lodge. And that was not the best ski trip for him.
Yeah. It's probably his last ski trip.
Sounds like an experience, though.
Yeah.
It was an experience.
Experience he will never forget.
Yeah, we didn't let him live it
Memorable.
down.
Right.
Yeah, you'll
Awesome.
never let him forget it.
Well, thank you, Ryan, for being on here. Thank you
Thank you
for
guys.
having us at Light It Up Expo. I mean, beyond excited to come out to Orlando. I've never been to Orlando. Stacy, I don't believe, has been out there either, so we're excited to go to Orlando. But
No,
we're
I
really
have.
excited.
We talked about Disney, remember? We had this
Oh,
conversation. You
yeah.
said,
But like, yeah.
I said,
So, well, I have never been to Orlando, and I'm looking forward to going to Orlando and then not be Disney. So I'm more excited to meet the installers and all the other vendors, see how their seasons were that we haven't got to catch up with yet. So, but yeah, we appreciate you coming on, Stacy. Thanks as always for having us, for
Thank you
scheduling all
guys.
this.
Yeah.
Spanky, thanks for coming on as well. Everybody on Facebook, Ashley, Paul, everybody on there. We had quite a few people on today. So, um, yeah, like I say, there's a couple tickets left. So if you're still thinking you can make it to Light It Up Expo, go on their website and
he said 3 to 8, so we don't know
yeah.
really. So get him
So
now, guess, if you're coming.
and
Well,
then
I
if
know.
it says they don't join their wait list, if a couple people don't show up or email them saying, "Hey, I'm not going to be there," they'll release more tickets. So,
We did.
um,
We just had like one person today that's like a good friend of mine too. And they're like, oh, they can't come. I'm like, what? So don't, your hope is not all lost. If the page is closed and it says wait list, don't give up. Put your name in there and we'll contact you.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And everybody online, thank you all for being there. And great to see you. Ryan, can't wait to see you next week. And
Thanks,
thanks,
guys.
Spanky, for being on here. And we'll see you next time.